Yeah, but we are using Exchange from a lifetime. It's one of the most efficient messaging server, and it when it started, it was in a competition of different messaging servers like Groupwise, um, Domino, IBM Domino, Lotus Notes, your Apache server, and today we only know Exchange. So the new generation only know Exchange. They don't know about all different verticals from Novell, IBM, Linux. Was there any messaging server they used to have? That will be the new generation's question.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't know if that's fair. I mean, there's still a use case. I mean, I still run a third-party, SMTP server, and I still, relay copier messages and think like specific use cases through that mail gateway solution. But I agree with you, big picture, mailboxes, Exchange is really the dominant, really the only solution. I mean, obviously there's Gmail, but I don't really consider that a, corporate
yeah,
solution. So, but yes, I know companies use it, but to me, that's not really a solution for managing, your calendar contacts and a lot more, integration. I mean, there's some just like super basic stuff, which, I mean, a nonprofit I'm involved with, we got a free version of Google Workspace, like the business,
yeah,
and stupid stuff like forward an email address outside the organization you can't do. It's like the end user has to do it. And it's like, really? This
yeah,
is ridiculous. So you and me are
yeah.
we're
That's what I'm
we're all on
saying.
the same page with Exchange. Trust me.
So yeah,
So
the exchange took over the almost all market, and now it's the end of it. So now, if you're not happy with the exchange online, and you want to go back to the on-premises, then you don't have really, realistically, there's no option except you live in this exchange subscription edition, which has a specific licenses requirements to maintain, which could be costly, which could be, well, depends on the organization.
sure. I mean, I guess
But
to me, it's kind of like jumping the gun, just because it's like we still have folks that are running Exchange 2016, Exchange 2019. I know I have clients that are running those two
yeah,
versions. I mean, I also internally run 2019 for a specific domain, specific purpose. It's not on the internet anymore, so but it's everything in order to access it. It's all behind a VPN, but this is going to be an option for folks, and we'll get into the nitty gritty, but Exchange SC subscription edition, um, it's going to be an option. So why don't we jump to slide 2 so people know the people jibber jabbering, and we'll get the ball rolling.
right. So we are today's speakers, myself, Prabhat Nigam, CEO for EXUG Foundation. Uh, yourself, the speakers,
Hey, hello
Harish.
everyone. Myself Harish, and I am the IT manager in the Golden Five.
And I'm Ben Serban from New York Exchange User Group and also Reef Solutions. And that picture is like 20 years old, but I do appreciate that picture being there. So thank you.
Yeah.
So
So
I was going to say before
yes.
we jump in, I was just going to say just from I think I recognize a couple of the folks on the attendees, but in essence, this is really a give and take conversation. So even though it's like slide deck and we're going to be presenting, if you have questions as we're going through it, you can definitely ask during the presentation. Or you can wait until the end and do a little Q&A. But Prabhat and I and Harish, hopefully, this is going to be a conversation with all and a learning experience for everybody. So,
Absolutely. Feel free to jump in, raise your hand, or drop a message, or in a Q&A, whichever is your comfort. All right, let's jump into the session today. A quick intro for the LXUG Foundation. I'm representing. nonprofit in Los Angeles. Focuses to free education in the community, share my knowledge or share Microsoft technologies knowledge with them. And yeah, that's it for LXUG Foundation. Harish, you want to go for your slide?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so about the company, we are based in Los Angeles, USA. We are Microsoft Gold Partner Solution Provider, and we are providing AOSG partners, authorized service and service hub reseller, and contractor for DoD, GCC High, GCC Education Charity, and as well as the Microsoft supplier advisor for Copilot and AI implementations. We are also CMMC consulting organization, certified CMMC professionals, what we have. Multiple branches all over the globe. It's in USA, Canada, and India.
Okay. I don't have your
Yeah, I skipped.
slide.
I missed that slide deck. That's fine. I'm Ben Sarabin. I created a New York Exchange user group just because I'm a believer. I own and run an IT consulting company out of New York. Our focus is on Microsoft technologies, but I have a love for Exchange. A little bit less for M365 Exchange Online, but the overall, this is what brought us together. Prabhat and I is just our love for Exchange. So
The New York Exchange group was always rocking till the time I lived in New York. We have been running the shows all the time and just be all the fun. And everyone participated there, also enjoyed our sessions and talk, and they also participated one or the other way. So that was excellent. All right. I want to start with the Exchange versions and, remember the memories of from where we're coming. Starting with Exchange 4, 5. I started working on Exchange 5.5 in Microsoft. That was the first thing. I mean, I deployed Exchange 5.5 in one of the organization before, but then my choice of MCSE certification was IIS because I felt Exchange Server is tough and difficult. So I went for IIS server certification in my Windows NT MCSE certification. But then who knew the destiny you have to be working on Exchange so much after that? So here I am. So I've worked on so much in I think almost all versions of Exchange. And so Exchange 5.5 was based on Windows NT as far as I remember. And then they also switched to Windows AD. And then pure Windows AD Exchange Server came with Exchange 2000, 2003 with different additional features. Exchange 2007 was exciting because that started cluster to go beyond local cluster servers to go to the third location, standby continuous application to go to the second data center as well. That was the, I think, beginning of the miracle. I would not say miracle, going beyond, a cluster going beyond the data center. That's when it started, and 2010 adopted that very well. So in terms of DAG, and DAG was the most efficient clustering format, which ran for now till 2024, 14 years or more, 19, maybe it was started in 2009. So maybe 15 years flawless. I think that was one technology I think Microsoft did not try to change after, but that was the perfection. They were not required to change it. Um,
but they
2023.
did. But they did spend a lot of time thinking about trying to get SQL database inside, try to get Exchange into SQL, and then they realized that didn't work. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember every new release discussion. They always used to come with two things. One, has the database moved to SQL yet, or kind of a puzzle. Anyone can guess, kind of that. And then everyone said, yes, sequel. I said, no, not this time. We'll try next time. And then second thing they always talk about is the public folders. Public folder has gone yet or no? They couldn't get rid of that.
It's almost
They
14
still
years
have it
they
in
are in
Exchange Live.
discussion. It's almost 14
Right.
years that Microsoft is in discussion to decommission the public folders, but it's haven't.
Yeah, and they implemented an Exchange Online as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so those are the couple of things Microsoft always asked or tried to come over, but I think they couldn't. Yeah, one thing which changed in 2019 is they got rid of unified messaging completely. So if the customers were using 2016 and they're still on 2016, they never migrated because of the Exchange 2019 does not support unified messaging voicemail feature. So in case you have Cisco Unity or Cisco CUCM, you were good with Exchange 2016, not needed to migrate to 2019 because you will stop receiving the voicemail on the email. But Exchange 2019 is the last standing server in with 2016. And the subscription edition is now the new Exchange with Exchange Online or without Exchange Online.
I guess technically the subscription edition should be after the Exchange Online.
Exactly, I know, but that's the cloud, and this is the on-prem server.
I
So,
don't know about this.
uh,
This is the timeline. This is not on-prem versus online. So, but yeah, we'll see if it ever gets feature parity. That's really what it comes down to it. So,
it has. Okay, so this is another thing I wanted to highlight or show. I just like to share that what was the release date, what was the mainstream and an extension date, and this is available in the Microsoft Exchange Server Wiki. So this is exciting to see the wiki is updated with the end of extended end date October 14, 2025. So I'm glad the wiki guys are updating the wiki very often. But they didn't mention the subscription edition yet. All right, because it has not released, so there's no date and everything there. This is how I interpret this today as Exchange Server end of life, because there will be no more version change. There'll be updates and updates and updates. That's it. So already dead is till 2013. I think there's no more extended support even available for 2013. Even if I think 2013 was not the most robust edition, so I'm expecting. Uh,
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I would say 2013 was pretty good. I would say once we got to 2010, things were
yeah,
much better. So, but yeah.
yeah, I agree for some short that 2010 was great. Then the cycle of change. When Microsoft changes something, the first edition does not come well. So that 2010 was a second edition of the new change of after 2003. So that's how it came very well after some service packs. And then 2013 came, they had some issues with 2013. Then 2016 came, which was way better. And then 2019 was not good because of unified messaging was removed. So we were expecting that unified messaging will come back in 2022 edition if they would have released,
Yeah.
because no one wants to lose the functionality of you still getting the voicemail delivery and everything, which was like a handcut for that. Now you have a choice that you add a third party in between and use the cloud voicemail with your Cisco devices receiving the calls and everything. So okay, So it's still alive 2016 and 2019, but will be out of support on 2014 on October 14 2025. What does it mean, Ben? Like,
What mean? That it's going to be out of
can you
support?
still, yeah, can you still use it?
Of course. I mean, I have a freaking client who's running, I think they're on 2007. I mean, and they have some freaking law firm. So people are going to run it. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, the challenge is that from a security perspective, they shouldn't be on the internet. I mean, that's really what it
Yes,
comes down to it. So you can run it. It just, you need to have it behind VPN. And when I say behind VPN, that means for clients, that like your mobile clients, desktop, everything. So like, for example, my 2019 that I run, all devices have to run. We run WireGuard on all the devices. So that's like native to iOS. I don't know, Android, but native for that. And then we just load the clients on any devices. But you could do it with, Cisco AnyConnect or SonicWall or whatever. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, once I would say October 14th, like you're going to get up to the time you want to deploy VPN to protect this stuff. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, this is at the end of the presentation. I mean, people are going to realize that, do they continue it? Do they not? That's really the bigger challenge. So
absolutely. Yeah, so next is the new lifetime exchange server. There's not going to be 2022, 2024, 25, 26, 27. As the counting is gone, just exchange server subscription edition. Keep getting community updates.
but
So like a,
I just want to say one thing. Even though we have been writing subscription edition, they don't list it. Like Microsoft, I don't see them writing out subscription edition. They always write Exchange Server SE, which is annoying because initially I was like, second edition. That's what I assumed because I'm like an older guy who's,
yeah,
Windows, Windows 95 SE, and that was second edition. So as soon as I saw Exchange Server second edition, I was like, that's weird. And then
yeah.
obviously subscription edition. So
All right. Yeah, so yeah, that's what they just try to short it out. ESSE. This is gonna be the full short form. Exchange Server Subscription Edition. Um, yeah, so why when we talk about what happened and changes after Hafnium attack, I think Microsoft started releasing the security updates for cumulative updates. So that's a little funny that they already released a cumulative update quarterly, and then they started releasing security update every now and then. I didn't follow how often they release security update, but they release it very often. Could be every month. So security update for an update. That's what is coming. That's why I was saying a little funny there. But it also enable some Exchange builds if you have not applied the security update. Microsoft has started blocking your hybrid configuration servers if you have a server which is lower, maybe Exchange 2010, or if it does not the Exchange other Exchange server does not have a security update. Even last weekend itself, I upgraded one of the customers' Exchange server, which was on the old CU on 2016. So that's those two things started, and I think if you have to be supported, then you have to apply the latest. I think -2. I prefer -1 to the latest upgrade. That's what I do. Um, so yeah, that's up to everyone what they want to do with that. But yeah, important thing is you cannot just sit quietly. You have to keep updating the Exchange servers. All right, Exchange Server Subscription Edition. More talking about that. There's no more. It's not going to be N-2 like N-2 will be 2019 and 2016 should be there. That concept is going to be dead. And 2016 2019 will be dead. In terms of using all three together, you cannot, like we were just talking about that on the end of support date means support is no more available, which means there'll be no cumulative update. There'll be no security update. Um, unless there could be some for only few organizations, which could be DoD, if they say, nope, we just want to use it, and they stick to that, and there could be a separate term signed with them and just release the update for them. But that may not be publicly posted. Um, and then there'll be two versions of Exchange Server subscription edition, CU1 and SE. They'll be releasing very fast, one to each other. And I think next few slides will be talking the differences and what one enables, what second enables. But that's, and they both can exist or coexist. Um, and then we're talking about some changes, which are new things which Exchange SECU1 is going to bring is like Corberus for server-to-server communication. Some things will be removed. Um, support for admin API, deprecating RPS, removing out of anywhere, our favorite, right? Um,
I loved RPC over HTTPS, but yeah, sadly it's getting terminated as a protocol.
yes, yeah, I know. That used to be the. I feel that was the best. That was good. Um, obviously, removal of support for other versions. Uh, updating the Visual C++ redistribution for Visual Studio to 2022, and the removal of UCMA will be removed. Um, I think someone raised the hand.
Yeah, there was a question in the chat asking, will SE support ADFS?
Well, um, as far as I'm reading, if 2019 is supporting, then it should be supporting.
Okay.
Yeah, more we would know when it will release. There's a very limited information they're releasing. Microsoft has released, but then our goal is to start preparing for this because the organizations who may have a decision to upgrade, they want to start gearing up right now, and because there could be some organization whom have to bid for, so they have to prepare a bid. Bid will come out, then someone will win the bid, and they have to then migrate. Imagine if there are 10,000 users living in there, it's going to be good migration size, so they will be starting now. So that's why they have to start right away.
Yeah, no, I just quickly looked up. So ADFS is supported by older versions of Exchange. And so, yeah, as Prabhat said, if it supports it in 2016 and 2019, I don't see them removing it. So I suspect it will continue through. But, I mean, this is a guess. So,
As of now, it is yes.
yeah.
All right, Exchange Server next release. They're expecting three main releases for next 1 year. 2015, Exchange 2019 CU15 is expected in third quarter. So yeah, we still have time, lot of time. We want to see 6 months is a lot of time to prep. This will be the final cumulative update for 2019 with code parity for SCRTM, and it will also block Exchange 2013. If you had 2013 in the environment, it will block as well. Um, then we're talking about Exchange Server SCRTM. That is also expected around the same time. What Microsoft's saying in the second half, I'm trying to divide into the quarter. So I'm thinking it's going to be maybe in the second half of the, or towards lower end of the third quarter, and um, and the SECO1 will be expected around fourth quarter, in between, maybe in December timeframe. Um, that's when the new features will be implemented. Whereas I think the RTM is the mid midway bridging between the old servers, because they're also enabling the in-place upgrade from Exchange 2019 to Exchange Server SE. So that RTM will allow you to do that in-place upgrade. Um, that's the main, I think, focus with RTM version. Um,
I think technically this is the only Exchange version upgrade. And maybe I'm misremembering some of the older ones, but I think this is the only version that allows you to install
in place.
Exchange SE, yeah, in place. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. That's the that's the best new feature. Everyone was looking for. Can we do exchange in place upgrade so far? And we have to say no, no, not possible. This is the first time. I'm excited to see that. That's the best thing. But again, we will still have to think about operating system. If the operating system is supported, not supported, which you're using, then we may still have a situation that you have to upgrade or build a new server or VM
Yeah. No,
with a
that probably
new.
makes, yeah, that probably makes the most sense because if you're running obviously Exchange 2019, you probably haven't deployed that on 2022. So you're
Yeah,
probably running that on 2019 or older. So it doesn't make sense to freaking deploy Exchange SE on 2019 potentially when it's 2025. Like that just doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
S-
So that then your Windows will be out of support and your SE will be
True.
not. So like you wanna be on the latest.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what most likely will be. I don't think it's adding any help or it's doing anything. There'll be hardly any one doing the in-place upgrade like we will do for in our labs. So
True.
mostly in the labs to
Yeah.
play around, and but in reality, I
Yeah.
would not recommend that.
True. I
Um,
mean, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the real reason they ended up saying in place is I think it's pretty much 2019, just slightly tweaked. And I think they're just
yep,
trying to get folks to be reassured that it's not a major change and that if you know
yep,
2019, you're going to like SE. So just, consider deploying it. So I think in that scenario, it's a good marketing move because it's going to really draw an adoption much faster than if it was an all brand new creature. And then you're like, okay, well, I want to, see it come out. We're going to wait until the first CU comes out. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
yeah, yeah. But I think I think it's of no use though.
No, no,
It's a
no,
good thing
definitely.
right
I'm
now.
just, yeah, from a code maturity, I think this is a good approach that in
Yeah,
essence, they're just slight changes, but I agree. If you're deploying this, I mean, the good thing is 2025 is, I think, another month or so, or even October.
yeah.
I thought Windows Server 2025 was supposed to be RTM'd already.
It did. It
Oh, it did
did.
RTM. Okay, okay. I didn't realize
It
that.
did.
Yeah.
I think
So
I was
yeah,
setting the.
so the good thing is RT 20 Server 2025's come out. Now Exchange SE comes out. So anyone who's going to deploy it, bam, they put it right on 2025. And then you have a good 5, years or more, if you're going to run SE from a
Yeah,
stability perspective. So I think that's a win-win.
yeah. So yeah, expect SECU1 in the quarter four of 2025. And then you will have all the features or deprecated features I've mentioned. Those will be there in the CU1, and it will block 2013, 2016, 2019. What surprises me is the last point I mentioned, no 5 years of extended support for 2019. I have never seen that. So this is the first version of
That's
Exchange
for 2019.
29, which will not go for extended support for full stream. They're cutting it off. And this is, I'm not sure if, if there is any legality applies to Microsoft for doing that, or they can just do whatever they want. because the extended support is lasting only 1.5 year. Started in January 2024 this year, and then it's going to end next year.
I mean,
That's a little surprising.
yeah, I really think it has to do with this. I think it has to do with money. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I
that's
mean, in essence, them realizing that we could, especially when we start talking about licensing, there's so much lost revenue if they don't kill 2019, and then they just get everyone over to SE. I mean, SE is really 2019, and then in essence, they're just going to continue development. So it'll be supposedly the last version of an Exchange edition, kind of like Windows 10 was the last version of Windows, and then Windows 11 came out. So we might end up getting Windows SE 2 or Windows SE SE, subscription edition, second edition. So
Yeah, I remember that.
we'll
Like
see what
Windows
happens.
R2
Yes.
yeah,
Exchange.
R1 and R2 earlier
Yeah.
versions. Like it's a good move you can say. But yeah, from the marketing perspective, yeah, they're releasing 25 server version, and then you have to like most of people will definitely will go with 25, and then go ahead and install the Exchange SE. So it's two kind of subscription people will go ahead and buy, right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's yes, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, yes, it's more related to the money.
Yeah. I mean, that's my take on things. So, but I get it. I mean, in essence, it's hard to, I think Wall Street has gotten used to Microsoft, in essence, just subscription revenues. And I mean, it's a smoother revenue stream. And so I just see them trying to put all their products, which I get, into subscription. But then the hope is that, Exchange SE, hopefully they support that forever. As long as you're paying the licensing, continue to roll out updates. So I guess we'll see, what happens on that front.
And they should have
That
named
could
it
be
Exchange Forever.
we can hope, right? It's
Yeah.
not some. It's ultimately we don't have the complete clarity. It's just the FAQ or tech community article which they have published right now, wherein the basic questions they have answered. They did not disclosed what's their next plan of or next move, right? So once it's going to be released, then we'll know what new features and what things they are going to release.
Right.
Totally.
Harish, you're next.
Yeah. So definitely everyone is in thought of upgrading it to the latest version, because in next year the 2019 is going to be out of support. But yeah, as you mentioned, there is a multiple option that if we do not go ahead and uh, configure it directly face to internet, yeah, then we can keep on continue using it. There will be no problem. The only thing is security patches will not be get it installed. So we have to plan for the changes, okay, which is going to be a next. So definitely plan for licensing change, which we need to think of from now onwards, that how things is going to be work. So earlier we purchasing the perpetual licensing subscriptions. Now it's going to be a the key-based subscription, which is going to work now. And users need to purchase the CAL subscription, aligning with Microsoft to keep the continuity. That's the plan for licensing change, which as per the article, what I think is going to be the next move. And
Or
definitely we need to
the
consider the
enterprise
upgradation and
agreement,
migration.
right?
Yeah, enterprise agreement, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely we need to, yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no,
Yes,
no.
yes.
Yeah. No, I kind of interpret it slightly differently, but on the next slide, I'll let you continue, and then we'll.
Okay.
Surprising.
Okay. So definitely we need to consider the upgradation and migration, whatever the things is going to be happen. So as Prabhata is also mentioned, and in the FAQ also the Microsoft mentioned, we have option to do the in-place upgrade from 2019 right now. Later point, definitely we are not sure. As you also mentioned that how things going to work, whether they might go and release SE2 or another version of Exchange. But yeah, it's only just a guess. The coexistence with the earlier versions, I guess, is not going to work. It's the with the new version only. So before thinking of upgradation, right? As an organization, we should consider what they are requirement for the upgradation and how we're going to migrate the mailboxes in case migrating to the cloud. That's something which we need to think of. And definitely being in consulting service or solution provider or IT provider, any case if there will be any problem or we are always happy to take care of the concerns, right? Even though if it's going to be out of support, so that's something can be taken care. Yeah, I think Bharat, that's it. You can move to the next slide.
Okay, on this one, on me.
Oh, you can carry on this too.
Okay, so this is where I think we talked a little bit about it, but this is more streamlined action to take and milestone. So when CU15 comes, make sure that 2013 is removed and migrate every 2013 to 2016. So they are giving a path so that you migrate to 2016 and then migrate to 2019, and then you have 2019 to live with, and with the so that you can do the in-place upgrade. I think that's what Microsoft's trying to forecast there. But in reality, I would say, um, yeah, and also the coexistence cannot happen between 2016 and 2019, so they have to be on 2019. That's the idea as well. So between RTM, Exchange Server SE RTM, and CU15, we have to consider removing 2013 and 2016 eventually and live on 2019. Then it's then migrate to SE. That sounds like we are expecting, and then SE will migrate to CU1. That's when we will get all the features. So it's like three-way handoff, not just direct handoff as of now.
Yeah, one thing that I'm very curious about, and I can post it. I'm not sure if we can do a poll, but I'd be very curious, just the folks that are on the Teams meeting, like how many people are still running Exchange, 2010 and earlier, and then how many are on 2013 and 2016 and 2019? Like, I'd be very curious to know those sorts of numbers. Like, I would be shocked. I mean, outside of I have one client on Exchange, I think it's Exchange 2007 they're on, which is insanity. I mean, it's stupider than stupid, but it's like you can only draw, walk the horse to water. You can't force it to drink. So it's kind of like I'm waiting for them to get hacked. But yeah, I suspect we have a lot of 2016 and 2019 folks out there. So I'd be very curious. So if you guys can actually just post in the chat, I'd be very curious to see. If you can, just post the version that you are running. And if you're a consultant, just post all the different versions you're running. I'd be very curious just to see that. So
Yeah, I haven't seen any customer of ours on 2013. There are customers using 2016 and 19, and we will be helping them in upgrading. Like most of them have moved to the cloud, but the only organization which is a private cloud, they were on 2019 recently, and then now they have to think of migrating to SE with the whole licensing term. And
yeah,
they're hosting CGIS organization, so they have to be upgrading for sure. So they cannot live without upgrading and a unsupported or without a Microsoft support because of the the CGIS data in there. So yeah, that will be interesting. But other
One,
than that,
yeah,
most of
one thing
them,
I'm curious about from like the hosting providers. So the hosting
yeah,
providers, non-Microsoft hosting providers of Exchange, whatever happened, I remember back in the day there was ISA, ISA, and are there any firewalls outside of running, Edge, Exchange Edge? Are there any application layer firewalls from Microsoft that Microsoft recommends for the hosting providers to run?
there used to be what do you call threat management server,
Oh yeah, TMG I think it was
TMG.
called. Yeah,
Yeah,
TMG. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We used to have that.
I
Remember?
never, yeah, I never deployed that, but yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Oh, I
So,
did. It's
oh, you
like
did.
long time.
That's
Long
very
time.
funny.
I haven't touched that, but
Yeah. No, it's funny. I mean, this is one of the challenges with the load balancers because
yeah,
I was working with a lot of load balancers, so I would deploy them. And the last one that I actually deployed was from Kemp. And then they
yeah,
got bought by, I think, Dell. And then Kemp had all these freaking vulnerabilities. They had a couple of RCEs. And it was kind of like the thing that's supposed to be protecting and load balance. So it was like application firewall and a load balancer. And it was a vulnerability. And it was like, this is insane. So,
yeah. For our customers, other customers, we deployed the F5
mhm.
load balancer, or that's there's another one from Citrix. What do you call Netscaler? No,
Yeah, but that's like a
Netscaler.
reverse proxy. Exactly. Did that
Yeah,
do
that's
application
got it.
level firewalling though?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
All right. Up to you, Ben.
Yes. Okay. So licensing options before we talk dinero. So there's three ways to quote license this SE, um, and obviously these are not like my recommendations. I'm just laying out the three options for Microsoft. One is you have a qualifying cloud subscription, like literally running M365. If you have an E3 or an E5 license, you can pay Microsoft to have an E3 and E5 Exchange Online, and you can, in essence, deploy Exchange SC. Um, yeah, I don't know why you'd be paying for an E3 and E5 and then, in essence, deploy SC, but it's an option. I guess it really comes down to dollar and cents, just regarding the number of users, but that's one option from a licensing perspective. The next option is, and you could choose either of these three approaches, and then the next slide I'll get into the numbers. The second option is you buy the licenses. So you got to buy your server, your Exchange server license. You have to buy user or device CALs. So I just use the term CAL. I always went user CALs. I never went device CALs. But so in essence, you got your Exchange Server Standard Edition or Exchange Server Enterprise Edition, same concept, and then your user CALs or device CALs. And then the bonus, the difference, this is what makes it special, Subscription Edition, is they want the ongoing revenue. So you have to have software assurance. SA is software assurance, and you need to, in essence, pay for that on an annual basis. You can get SA for 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, but it's an annual fee. And this is kind of like, I think, their thought process on how to ensure that they're investing in Exchange subscription edition. So that's option two. So you got to get server CAL, standard or enterprise, user or device CALs, plus SA. So, and then the other option is the same concept. You have your server and your user CALs, and then you also need to do SA once it gets released. But we don't know what the cost of that is right now. So there's going to be a separate SA for Exchange Server Subscription Edition, and then that will give you access. So option two in the middle was for taking Exchange Server 2016, 2019 and paying for SA. So Microsoft's eager for people to prepay them. Who wouldn't want to get prepaid?
Yeah,
So you could SA if you're not SAing right now, you're 2016 and 2019 because you could have perpetual. So there was an option. You had perpetual licensing or you had SA. The whole concept of SA for folks, that aren't familiar, is in essence it gives you access to free upgrades. So if you're on SA, you can upgrade whenever you want. So someone who's SA for 2016, it's kind of strange that you didn't upgrade to 2019 because it existed. Normally, SA was common in the Office world. So that way you had a flat fee every year. It was like a smaller fee every year. And then when Office came out, Microsoft, instead of paying $400 or $300, a big number, you would just pay your, say, $75 or $100 each year. So it was a very constant cost. So it made, like, total cost of ownership, it was the same amount, but instead of, spiking each year or every couple of years with a big amount, and then the budget drops, and then budget increases, this was just a flat number. So CFOs liked SA. So those are the three ways to license this process. You literally get Microsoft 365 licenses that qualify you, and then you can deploy SE. You have your existing 2016, 20.
First one
Yeah.
doesn't really make sense. I'm just
First, agreed. It makes no
curious
sense.
to know, like, why they said all users who has E3 or E5, they can get it because they have the mailbox already. So why they will be using or how they're going to be using two mailboxes associated with one identity, that never happens.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
The-
this is not for that. My take on this is the folks that are going to be getting SE, money's not the object. Like you're not going to license SE this first way if you're concerned about cost. This is like your primary concern is security, compliance. That's something M365 can't do. There's going to be some other higher reason for doing it than for cost. So that's
absolutely.
yeah. No, but I get it. I mean, it's an easy way. Like a lot of folks, they'll just license. They'll like, okay, we're going to deploy E3 for everybody, and then in theory, you get access to SE. I mean, this is kind of handy. Just think if you have SE and you're like, oh, I need a relay server. I'm going to deploy Exchange Server SE, and bam.
Yeah.
So
That's the confusion because if you gonna relay the sender ID, the sender ID, are you gonna be expecting a license for that sender ID as well, which could be do not reply at domain.com today?
well, no.
Expecting a
This is
mailbox
well,
and
no.
license for that?
Well, you're not licensing. My take on this is you're not licensing for email addresses. You're licensing for the users. So you could have a ton of mailboxes, but it's really just based on the users that are accessing it. So in theory, you could have 10 mailboxes. If you have, let's just keep the numbers easy. Let's say 2 users. You would be licensing for 2 users, not the 10 mailboxes. So, and it's only for folks that have access. So it's kind of a strange thing because if you have 100 users that are E3, but only 5 need access, are you paying for the 100 users or the 5? So now here are the dollar and cents. So this is really where it gets pricey. And this is, so this is the focus is not on the Microsoft 365 licensing approach. It's not on the E3, E5. I kind of ignored that because I don't really see, you don't care about money if you're getting E3, E5 and you're deploying SE. So the purpose of this is showing option 2 and option 3. So, well, this is really option 2. So option 2 is you have your Exchange Server license. So you buy your one-time perpetual license. And this is standard, edition. So let's just say it's Exchange Server, 2016 or 2019. You bought your license, $900. And then each user cal, I ignore the device cals, but each user cal, let's just say is 110. And I just pulled, I think these are CDW numbers. I wanted just to get, fairly ballpark numbers. So you get your $900 and then 110 for each user one time. And then normally you'd be done. Like with the standard server worlds, Exchange world, you have your one license, $900 for the server, And then if you had 10 users or 100 users, it would just be 100 times whatever the price is. And then you get it for the lifetime of them releasing security updates. The difference now with SE is now you also have to get software assurance. So I just quoted standard edition. I didn't do enterprise. I just figured I'd keep it simple with the concept. But standard edition, this again is a CDW price. The SKU that's a Microsoft SKU, so it'll work across the board. But 424 is the annual fee you have to pay for, quote, security updates and updates to Microsoft. So this is forever. You're going to have an annual fee for subscription edition, and it's per server. This is for standard edition. So obviously, if you're running a DAG, you would have 2 or 3 servers. This would be 2 or 3x this number per year. And then the additional thing is you need to have user CALs, software assurance. So it's per year.
Really? I thought it's only the per user. It doesn't matter the DAG for. Oh yeah, exchange
No.
license would matter,
No, exchange. Yeah, exchange you would have, this is
but
the
not a cow.
multiple. Yeah, not the user CALs, correct. No, the user CAL, the user CAL is you buy one CAL because the mailbox can sit on any 3 servers, but it's not going to sit across. Yeah, we're on the same page. So in theory, your user CAL is $56 a year. So, okay, we got that. So then, you're like, okay, let's just take an example, a 50 user company example. You got your $900 times your 50 users times 110 plus the 24 a year plus the 50 times 56 a year equals 9624 for year 1. So that's a big number. So obviously you're not going to have the $900 again, and you're not going to have the user CALs again. So, but the trick is you're going to have the software assurance fees every year. So you're going to still have the 56 times 50. So you're at 2,800 plus the 424. So you're at like 3,200, 3,224 per year. So, and the challenge is that when you roll this yourself, those aren't the only fees. Obviously, you're going to have Windows. I didn't include Windows licensing fees. You got to buy Windows. Like there, then you also, it's like, okay, I got to back up Windows. Like obviously, hopefully everyone is backing up Exchange separately, but you're at, I think I said 3,200 plus the Windows licensing. So this gets pricey very, very quickly. And so you're obviously going to have, your backup, your AV, all that stuff. But I mean, you're still going to have your backup Exchange, even if you're doing M365, you're running backups, hopefully. So you would have that. But this is going to be an expensive proposition. So for most folks, if they're just like, hey, I want to offload this to Microsoft, I get it. Like you want freaking MFA functionality. Who knows if MFA is even coming to on-prem? So from a licensing cost, this is for the non-M365, and you see this is expensive. So I just wanted to like, and remember, this is kind of like reading the tea leaves because Microsoft they haven't released the subscription edition software assurance pricing or the SKUs.
But this is important. This is important because if any organization is thinking of keep upgrading and not willing to, preparing for the upgrade, I think they need to know the cost of the upgrade in terms of licensing and what is going to be the per year cost going forward. This will help them taking decision whether they should move to Exchange Online or they should stay on premises in terms of the costing. Obviously, the lawyers and then those companies who don't protect, who don't trust on keeping the data in another cloud which is not in their control, they definitely don't want, because eventually, end of the day, Microsoft has your mailboxes. They do the patching of those servers. What is behind? There's nothing like something which they never patch, right? They always patch the servers. So they have the access to where you have your raw data is there. Definitely they don't access it by law. They don't have to, or they can not access by law. So they will not access it. But again, it's a matter of the trusting Microsoft to host your data. or any service provider for that matter, not just Microsoft, Google, or any hosting company or AWS. They all have the access to your data. They're patching those servers for vulnerability or security updates every month, once at a time. So
Yeah.
um, so that's why they have to consider that. Okay, am
Yeah.
I ready to pay this much every year or to migrate Exchange Online?
Yeah. No, I mean, those are very good points. I mean, I think one of the things I just want to highlight that you mentioned is the patching. Like Microsoft has shown us that they patch Exchange Online before they patch Exchange On-Prem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a faster development cycle online. And so this is really, I don't see an ROI which makes sense to deploy this on-prem. It's too costly. So it's like
Oh,
you have to bring so much to the table. You need to have storage, Windows licensing, like you have to have labor to deploy. Like you wouldn't do this just to quote save money. And I get it. Like some companies, they'd be like, oh, okay, it's going to be cheaper. We do, uh, the forever. We just buy Exchange Server and we just run to the ground. So this is really the subscription edition is kind of changing the economics, and they're making it a non-economic decision. It's just, is there another
yeah.
reason that's more important than economics? And I just see, this really pushing folks that were waiting. Like to me, the takeaway is really just like, I get it. Exchange Online, that's really the answer. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, once I saw Microsoft, like, I haven't read anything. I'm curious if Prabhat or Harish has read anything, but I haven't read anything about like, MFA. How are they doing that for subscription edition? Haven't seen anything. Like, to me, that's a huge hole in the
ADFS.
situation.
They will still use the ADFS suite for the MFA
Yeah,
for
ADFS?
on-prem.
I
Yeah.
think with ADFS they can go because in ADFS we can implement to push via MFA, right? So let's see. Hope for the best. What options they give us?
Wait, ADFS supports MFA, push MFA?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, is that, and that's currently supported for existing versions of Exchange?
Yes.
yes,
Oh,
it
interesting.
does. Yeah.
Okay, I thought ADFS was used for other purposes. I didn't realize it was doing it for MFA.
Oh
No,
no,
it works for
don't take us
MFA.
wrong, but
Yeah,
it has
we
the
have
feature
configured
enabled.
for multiple customers.
Cool. That's very cool. Okay. So, I mean, that is huge then. I mean, that's a good, like, functionality. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So that the concern comes when it comes to the Outlook. I haven't tested that much, but the integration is there. That once you log in, you are in the office. You don't see that. You are part of the Windows domain. You don't see that MFA coming because you logged in using the Windows Kerberos authentication. So if it goes to browser, it definitely asks you the ADFS, and ADFS push the MFA.
MFA, yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So
So, yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's still
yeah.
not the same as what you see in your phone and every single device which you see in Action Online. There's a lot of configuration to be done on that for that to be working
Yeah.
in
No.
terms of the MFA. So
True. No. No.
we need
Definitely.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw that with trusted endpoints. I deployed one of my clients. They wanted, well, I wanted, and they agreed to it. But in essence, we wanted trusted endpoints for VPN. So we wanted to
Yeah.
be able to, only allow trusted endpoints to VPN. So they're Microsoft 365. So we ended up leveraging the
Azure.
Microsoft Azure, yep, Entra
Yeah.
AD, or Entra ID. So we did that, and what's funny is we did the POC, everything went well, and we have trusted endpoint. We're using Duo because actually Duo trusted endpoints are cheaper But I need to look at the whole licensing thing. But we deployed Duo because they're Cisco VPN, so I just figured Cisco VPN, Duo, Cisco. So it's all integrated. Everything's working. There's no MFA because it's like trusted endpoint. And everything's great. We deploy the solution. Microsoft changed like the policy around Entra ID in relation to the Duo functionality. So we start deploying it, and everyone starts, they get prompted for MFA, and I'm like, they shouldn't be prompted for MFA, but I'm like, I'm not going to like, we're in the middle of a deployment. I'm like, I'm just going to leave it. So I was like, okay, they got MFA, trusted endpoints, and VPN. But I was like, sometimes there's so many different moving parts to this stuff where it's just like, I'll deal with the MFA functionality. So
Yeah. No, with the conditional access, you can enable few things. Let me know if there's something you want to discuss over later. I think let's move on.
yeah, one thing I was curious about, and we didn't really touch upon this, is,
Yep.
and I didn't see this, is the versions. You can go to the next slide, but was, because it relates kind of more appropriately than a money thing, but FAQ is which versions of Outlook are going to be supported against SE?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
So I think
Uh,
I mean, like they said, they're not changing anything which was except they have pointed out what they're deprecating. Except that they're not changing anything what is currently supported in 2019, 2016. So Office 2019 or 2022, whatever the latest version is, so all will be supported. Plus Exchange, Office Online version will be supported as well. So anything from the M65 will be supported as well. But again, the current version of Perpetual Office will be supported for sure.
So I guess the question I'm curious about is like, for Exchange 2019, yeah, I guess the supported email clients are the same for the two versions. So I guess they're going to support Outlook 2016 with Exchange SE because technically it's supported. Interesting. I didn't realize, I'm looking
Yeah.
at the Microsoft page now, and I didn't realize that the supported email clients are identical for
Yeah.
2016 and 2019.
Yeah. So yeah,
Interesting.
unless they go out of end of support, right? So Office 2016 will be going out of end of extended support very soon. Um, yeah, so that's the catch. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
now,
Huh.
now the
Yeah, no,
most
it's funny. I
interesting
have a
part.
client where we're still purchasing um, Office 2016 because one of their lines of business apps only works with 2016.
Yeah,
And
I've
it's
heard this
like,
kind of
and
issue
I
with
hate it.
many other clients.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's
y-
like I'm trying to push them. Eventually, when they replace the app, they're going to be M365. And it pains me because I bought yesterday a license for Office 2016. And it's like, it probably would have made, I wish you could buy M365 and access the old versions of Outlook.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that works. But like something specific which has been deprecated from the new configuration, new version, that doesn't work. So I have some clients like that. They also have some old application and they're using old version. They are not supported or they don't have any security update. But that's how they live in an maybe not internet connected machines. They have those applications as well. So when one of the client they have only one user logs into the server to patch. There's no other one has access and everything like that. So there are some critical applications, and the developer who developed is no more. So what are you gonna do? You you reinvent the whole wheel, or just let it be in the old version? So they chose to do with the old version. But when you're gonna go for a compliance, your company will not be compliant because of that server, unless you take an exception and that doesn't have any compliant related data. So that would be
Yeah.
that would
Yeah,
be
I
cost.
don't
So
think I don't think any companies that are in the compliance space are going to be running these old versions. This is going to be like law firms or firms that are like
yeah,
PR firms, things that it's like they can do whatever they want. I mean, obviously this is a risk, and we gotta,
but they're
I
not
send,
compliant.
yeah. I mean, I send emails saying that this is unsupported. We can't support you. We will support you, but it's unofficial. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did for a long time. I was supporting Exchange 5.5 customers when Microsoft stopped supporting it. They were in love of that, or they were not willing to reinvest on the new version of Exchange. So it happens, and I assume it's going to happen again every time it happens, and they're like, no one wants to reinvest. So it's one thing to understand for everyone is that it's not just licensing cost when you do the migration. It's also the consulting or the migration cost for the product or the mailbox migration or exchange migration as well. That sometimes becomes huge, depends on the organization to organization size and number of mailboxes. If it is a small size, I get it. It may not be huge, but it's still deploying the new server, migrating. You're paying someone for that too. Maybe more than the cost of the license you're paying. And if it is a huge organization with a lot of database and servers, it's going to be huge migration for them as well. Just like a private hosting cloud, like we had for United Nations, we had like 20 around 20 organizations there with 6 databases each. So one of the organization had like 98 terabytes of one
Crazy.
copy. So there's 6 copies multiplied by 98 terabytes.
That's
That was the
crazy. Yeah.
total price for that. But then
Yeah.
I'm just talking about what they were still using the hosted cloud, and now if they have to migrate, then they have to migrate, um, and then they have no choice. That they have to spend more than licensing. For them, licensing is just peanuts. But then the migration would be the whole nightmare for
Yeah.
them. All right. I think Hafnium did something which woken us up. So it's by saying that now we don't want to take any responsibility of your network because anything can be attacked and it can be compromised. So we have to apply the security updates. So before Hafnium, I think more or less we were like, no, we can enable all kind of security and patches and everything. And even if you don't patch, don't connect to internet, you may be much safer. But Hafnium opened the eyes and said, no, there could be another way to attack as well. So I would not take any responsibility of unsupported Microsoft infrastructure. If Microsoft says no security update, then we are not taking any guarantee or warranty that your infrastructure will be safe and secure. But yeah, we can support that if there's any support requirement comes in. Now, one major question in FAQ I put together is what should I do if I have destroyed my Exchange 2019 hybrid server without deleting it formally? Because if you remember sometime back, maybe last year, Microsoft said now with the latest bit of 2019, you can turn off your server and maybe destroy it. Just don't remove the attributes in the hybrid so that you get the Exchange attributes. So I think the major question for them is if they have seriously followed that advice and deleted that Exchange server because their things are working. They just wanted to get the Exchange attributes which they're getting. So what they're gonna do and how they're gonna upgrade, how they're gonna do migration. That's where I'm. I think that could be one question. Your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is probably going to be one of those registry fun times. So, I mean, this is typically what happens when something goes offline or you do something you're not supposed to do. I mean, I suspect it's going to be, just registry work to go about fixing this. So, but yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's, I mean, to me, this is par for the course. Like I think the hybrid stuff is, it would be good for them to not require, like you should be able to have all the attributes without actually having to install Exchange. So to me, like the hybrid is kind of, who knows if they're going to even, I mean, I don't even know, are they going to have the term hybrid when they come out with SE?
yeah. They they
Oh,
they
they are.
have they have they have they're giving the free license for that server. Uh, but then to get the following updates, you have to get the license. But then if you don't want the new updates to be applied, then you don't need a license as
Or,
well.
yeah, I mean, I guess the whole thing is the hybrid, just answering, question number two. I suspect if you're under the option one, if you're E3, E5, you're going to get the free licenses. I mean, it's going to be the same as a fully licensed if you're on M365. So to me, I think I'm
I think for the
less,
second question, Harish has
yeah.
a better answer.
Oh, sorry, go
Uh,
for it.
Yeah,
Harish? Yeah.
so yeah, for hybrid server license, it's free with the SE as well. The Microsoft all have mentioned it in the article very clearly that we can go ahead and still use as free license with the SE.
So what happens though if you only have like E1 or E2 licenses? Can you still use hybrid for free?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the hybrid
with the
server is still
online,
free.
yeah, with the online validations, it's still free.
That's generous. That's pretty good.
At least Microsoft giving
but
something free.
but what they said is after that, if you want the regular updates, then then you need to buy a license. So following update, if you want to deploy, then you need a
Wait,
license.
I don't understand. So you're saying that they're going to give it initially for free, the hybrid license, like year one, but then you have to SA it?
Yeah, if you want the updates, yes, essay it. Otherwise, you don't get updates. You stick to the old version, and that's I think you know try to catch a dollar, and you catch dollars is consumed now. You have to pay. So
So Harish,
initially,
this should have been a very conditional answer. Yes, you are presented with it on day one, and day 366, you need to open up your wallets.
yeah. So one thing was I was sort of going back to the first question. I was thinking about it because many users may have destroyed the server because of the patching, Windows Server, Windows licensing, and everything they have to maintain. Rather, why do you need that server is for the Exchange attributes and the hybrid purpose. That's why you need the attributes that doesn't need a Exchange server to be up and running in reality. So that has been the main concern for running a hybrid server. So when Microsoft said just remove it or just run the Exchange tools on a tool server, and then that's it. So if they are doing that, then they have literally destroyed their Exchange server. In that case, there I think few options are there. They may have to run the Exchange recovery and build the server back, and then upgrade to the SE. That's the first thing I thought. Or I was also, we discussed in the past, our software Neo that we were talking about that stop using AD Connect and Draw Connect and start using our software Neo, which will eventually replicate the users without using Active Directory, without using Exchange attributes, and it will directly use the cloud attributes. So those users will not be cloud synced. Those users will not be hybrid sync, but they will be cloud only users in that case. So they will get all the attributes available in the cloud only. So that's our second thought as well. So just don't think about it having an Exchange server anymore. Just think of removing it and with living without that, just directly in the cloud. Um, Definitely that was the one thing, was the drawback of that approach, is that you will have to have a separate passwords for the users, but other than that, that functionality of Exchange Server was literally saved or not required. Those passwords which we are saying, it will be just different. With the self-service password reset, they can also configure user's password to self-reset when you are in the Exchange Online. And on-prem, they log in regularly the way they log in. So keep two separate passwords as it is. I feel not every organization has implemented SSO, so they are not on single ID. So one password for on-prem, one other password for online would be good. Maybe if you think about security point of view, if your one password is compromised, your secondary password will not be compromised. So at least one part will still be locked if your primary is compromised. Um, those are the few options which we can talk about as well and suggest. But yeah, that's one of the key point that I was thinking when they suggested to destroy that server. I'm like, no, I'm not, never destroy the server. You may shut it down, bring it back when needed, or bring it back every month, patch it, then shut it down. Also, because it can be tombstone if you keep it shut down for a long time. So those are the first questions answered. Now, third question is also important. Can I open Microsoft Incident after this date when the end of support? We have done some things like that in the past, and the first question comes, oh, are you using Exchange 2007 Service Pack 3? I'm like, no, we are still on Exchange 2003. Sorry, sir, this is not supported. We cannot guarantee to resolve your issue. We can we can help you with the best effort if you want. That's being very generous from the support engineer. That's what I used to say when I was in the Microsoft support. And I heard this same language for a while, but I think latest is this product is not supported. Thank you for calling. I'm going to close the ticket. No actions. So that's what's going to happen. You have to upgrade, and these are the links to which may help you, which could be some Microsoft blogs and some MVPs or some bloggers blogs as well could be provided to go ahead and upgrade. That's the risky situation, I feel, when you are in a production. When you are a company owner and your production is down and users cannot send an email, how much they are still dependent on the email, that matters. Um, if you are definitely going office, maybe not much. You are communicating by knocking everyone's desk, or you have an internal office chat program. They're talking over the chat within the office. When you have to send an email outside, then you are definitely. In that case, you have to be careful about the messaging server for sure. So yeah, I think support ticket will not be honored by Microsoft for Exchange 2019 and 16. Uh, that's the point.
Yeah. Those they've been out a very long time, so they're pretty rock solid and stable. So I've
Yeah.
had very few issues with them. I think that's potentially why they didn't end up rolling out another version. I think things were just working so well,
Yeah.
and also they were kind of pushing folks towards M365. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really think they'd release another on-prem version, So I was kind of happy to see it. I mean, I think there is certain specific use cases for on-prem, and so I'm glad it's an option for folks that want to pony up and spend the money and get an on-prem solution. So
Yeah, and they said they're gonna keep releasing. They're gonna keep that database. I'm like, that's good. They are not saying that, oh, mailbox role is gone. I mean,
yeah,
so so mailbox role is gonna be there, so you can still keep running that Exchange server. Only the licensing model is changing. So it's not that product is being terminated. Product is gonna still be there, I think. So it's not a, I wanna say it's not a real end of life for Exchange, but it's just the end of life for um, the the new versions. It's just gonna be similar version, which will be getting the updates. That's how it's gonna be, I think.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I really think this is just 2019, and it's just forever. They're going to hopefully support 2019 forever. Well, obviously going to call it SE
Yeah.
until they call it SER2. But yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. So
Yeah, I think we can take few questions. I think we spent a lot of time on this. I think uh, hour and a half or so.
So yeah, so there was one question in the chat, and it was just regarding what are some key considerations when planning a migration from older Exchange versions to the latest release.
Okay, so most important, backup. Make sure before you do the migration, the backup is working. Also, your Windows licensing, you should be, we recommend the latest version so that it can last for extended support, next 10 years expected. Um, um, those are
I
the,
think that's a key point, by the way. Like I
yeah.
think you should stress that because technically the deploying the new Windows server in essence kind of says don't do the in-place upgrade. So like you should just deploy Windows Server 2025, and then when you deploy a new operating system, it's going to be a new install, and then you can obviously do your move mailbox and migrate that way.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do the in place upgrade. That's a message we are giving. Unless it is temporary and you were planning to migrate to Exchange Online already and you're almost a little bit delayed and you have no choice to force yourself to upgrade in place for a little bit, maybe six
Yeah,
months or so. So
yeah,
that's
but hold on a second. I just want to push back on that whole in place. I mean, technically, I didn't see anything regarding uh, the if you're running hybrid, if you deploy, I think it was C1, then they're going to block older versions. But if you don't have SE in your environment and you have 2019, are they in essence getting rid of hybrid even if you haven't deployed SE yet?
so there's a possibility that they will start blocking the server and saying that this is not supported.
I
So what
see.
happened to my other customer who was configured in hybrid? They will send an email and you get a non-delivery report. So this customer was using on-prem Exchange server or is using Exchange server, and they're only using Exchange Online Protection as an email gateway. Then they're using Microsoft in place of Proofpoint, Mimecast, or any other email gateway. So they're using Microsoft for that matter. And Microsoft said, okay, non-delivery report, you're not in a supported Exchange version. So
But
that's what
how would they
Microsoft can.
even know that? In theory, if you were using it as a gateway solution, couldn't you just switch it over and just push it via SMTP?
Yeah, so if you had hybrid wizard ran or if that is configured, then definitely Microsoft knows that with your header,
Mhm.
and I think the
Oh,
communication, uh, it may be communicating when it drops an email. Then it asks, okay, I'm Exchange 2010 Service Pack 2. The version number is this.
I
You know
see.
when you do the hello, it responds back that. So then you say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk to you. Or they talk and they say, okay, you're not supported version. And formal reply came in. And Microsoft had, when Microsoft released this feature, they initially also released that you have an option to extend it. But after that extension time, there's no more. So that feature is removed as well. That, okay, for a few days you can extend it, upgrade your server, and then it will be fine. But later point they removed that feature as well. So they were literally down. And I'm like, okay, let's fix it. Let's upgrade it. So
Mm.
that's what we did.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, they will have to upgrade, or in place upgrade is not recommended. That's what we were talking about. But then if someone is deciding to migrate to Exchange Online, maybe they can do the in place upgrade, or do the in place upgrade for now, and then later point migrate to the better server. Not only the thought behind is the operating system, but every time a new software we deploy, we have also observed that it will consume more resources, more CPU, memory, so be careful on that. However, Microsoft said it is going to follow Exchange 2019 sizing guide. The same sizing guide will work for this SE. So in a way, you're right that this is Exchange 2019's version. Um, so that specs works. But let it come. Who knows where it's going in the performance, how much spike it is taking. Because remember, Exchange 2019 needs minimum very high memory size. So that was another catch why
Yeah,
everyone stayed in 2016
yeah.
as a recommendation. But anyways, any other question? Anyone?
If you guys have questions, you can either, I'm just going to unmute some of the folks. There were two that, oh, they did. Okay, perfect. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can either just speak up and ask it, or you can post it in the chat, and then we'll read it. Cool. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't actually, my clients that are running Exchange, I'm not going to have them keep Exchange on-prem. I'm just going to push them to the cloud, just from a cost perspective, and it's just easier. It's one other, don't need to worry about it. Let Microsoft deal with everything. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's kind of a better option now. Otherwise, there's a lot of work to maintain.
mhm.
Windows patching, Exchange patching, and then there could be some additional antivirus and everything you need on that server upgrade, hardware resource upgrade, and maintaining a server in a
What do you
safe
mean there could be?
location.
What do you mean there could be antivirus? There is antivirus. Anyone who's not running antivirus, no. Havnium proved you needed antivirus. Like,
Yeah,
come on, Prabhat,
literally,
come on.
not really the initial Exchange servers. We like,
Agreed.
why you have antivirus, right?
No,
That's
agreed.
what.
Me and you, when we started, there was no AV on the Exchange boxes. I get it, but this is we're in a new world. Come on, new world
Yeah,
10 years ago.
All right. That's yeah. So definitely, antivirus has to be there on Exchange server. No more, no Exchange on Exchange. No more, no, no antivirus on Exchange. Sorry. Uh, but yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, all those expenses are there, so definitely they should migrate to Exchange Online. That's the message we are talking about. If the cost is a concern, if the cost is not a concern, then we have a new Exchange server coming up. So go for it, prepare for it. Let's do the migration. Yeah, there's no if and but. At least we have time, we have uh, costing, layout, a lot of things not changing. So I think we are pitching in at the right time, informing everyone that this is the time. I think that's the key. The sooner you prepare for your action, it matters. You may want to go for upgrade and later point management say, okay, let's do the Exchange Online migration. We have to do the migration. So the effort would be same or similar or very close to same, but that could be saving your dual effort to one migrate to Exchange upgrade and then migrate to Exchange Online if that's the going to be the focus for the team. All right.
Cool. Well, thank you, Prabhat. That was fun. I enjoy these.
Yeah, that was good discussion. I think. I hope we address everyone's question, and we will reschedule or we will schedule future webinars like this as we know more about Exchange SE, or we'll bring some new different topics. I think one new topic which I have in my mind is always uh, the M365 backup has started. Microsoft started offering since September. I was waiting for so many years. I'm like, why have they not started M365 backup, but they're doing the backup for everything else, which have started this year. I have got some feedbacks from customers as well that they tried. So I think that could be our next topic. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I didn't even know about this. I mean, I didn't even realize that they were doing this functionality. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm always trying to learn about new things, but this is interesting. So I think that
yeah,
kind of would make sense. I mean, right now, I use a variety of solutions to back up M365.
yeah,
So I'd be very curious to go down that road.
yeah. I like it. Personally, I like it because currently we're using Veeam, and Veeam doesn't have its own console, so we have to deploy Veeam on one platform, which could be one of the server, which we use normally in Azure. So we deploy Veeam in Azure and then uses Azure storage to back up that data. So it's like
Interesting.
investing on the VM, investing on Veeam licensing. Those two are always the investment. And then the third is obviously the storage. So the storage investment will still be there, but I think licensing costs may reduce or go better, cheaper.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So
Huh.
that could be interesting. Again, serverless. So that could be and we can use Azure storage mapping and there. So that's
Yeah, I mean
easy.
the only downside is that um, if you can only point the backups to the internal, you're kind of backing up Microsoft solutions to another Microsoft solution, which is not, perfect. So, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
when you back up, you choose data center. So if you are in the East Coast, you may choose West Coast, Azure.
I see.
So that really not the same.
Yeah.
And even if you're on the East Coast, it is in the backend it's a DAG.
Hmm.
So DAG will replicate for patching. So today, if you are in the East Coast one, tomorrow you might be on the East Coast two. You don't know where's your
Mm.
mailbox hosted on that on. every day it could be changing. So
And
we
yeah, no, that's fascinating. One thing I was just quickly curious about, because I had never heard of this and I just started looking at it, is the pricing only based on backup size, not on backup accounts? So if you back up 100 users there's no difference if you're backing up 100 users, it's 100 gigs, and you're backing up one user, it's 100 gigs. Is the pricing the same?
Harish, you have the pricing? I think we were doing the pricing sometime back for
I'm just curious about that off the top. Like, I'd never heard of this until you actually
It's
mentioned this.
0.15 cents per GB.
Yeah, but they only, so if you have one user, it's 100 gigs, or 100 users and it's 100 gigs total, it's the same
Yeah.
price.
Yes, same price.
Yeah, so this is a market disruptor, because all the backup solutions currently are pricing it per mailbox. This is huge.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what
so
I'm
it's gonna
saying.
be definitely costly because
no,
each
no,
user
no, it's
gonna have
cheap, you mean,
No, it's
not
cheaper,
costly. Cheaper,
okay,
much cheaper,
okay,
way cheaper.
way
okay.
cheaper. Yeah,
Because
because
it is
normally,
just charging for the storage.
yeah. That
Uh,
if that's definitely the case, because like all the
hmm
solutions out there are charging per mailbox, so they'll charge
Yeah,
anywhere from 50 cents to $2, and so the problem is
So
like, yeah, you might not be backing up that much for a user,
yeah,
so
mm.
this is a this yeah, we should
yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
do
this way
this.
definitely if you think then it's cheaper than the other competitors in the market. Yeah,
Way cheaper.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we should
for
definitely touch upon this.
yeah, for Veeam we pay for user license
Mhm.
and then we pay for the storage.
Same.
So
Same thing.
yeah,
The storage is crazy cheap
And
though.
we pay for VM as well.
Yeah. But the storage,
yeah,
I do everything through pretty much Wasabi. I do Wasabi and I have my own
yeah,
prem.
yeah,
So
Uh,
because I run the numbers to figure out what's more cost effective. But if you do Wasabi, it's $6 a terabyte. So it's super cheap. But the
yeah,
problem
yeah,
is the storage is there's no cost in the grand scheme of things. But the per mailbox is what's costly. So if you're paying $2 a mailbox and there's no data and you're backing them
yeah.
up, you're wasting money. And the Microsoft solution, it's like back up everything. So
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I was loving it because now I don't have to knock Veeam or the third party backup door, Veritas or Commvault or Symantec. I don't have to knock their door if I have an issue. I'm still Microsoft to Microsoft. Everything is Microsoft. Whatever is the issue, you guys manage. That's your
no, I
thing.
know, but this is the dilemma and I'll be polite about it, but
It is.
there's a reason there's so many Microsoft partners out there and support organizations is that natively, directly, they're not as strong as they could be. That's the polite way to say
Yeah.
it.
At the same
So to,
time, if
so to use a
there's an
third
issue,
party, like the backup vendor that I currently use heavily is called Nikivo, and they call me constant. They're like, whenever there's a support case, if there's more than like 2 responses, they call. They're like, let's get this resolved. Like, so they're very pro. Like, I love that from a backup entity. So Microsoft, my interactions have been less than stellar for support related issues.
yeah,
So
yeah, but what I'm talking about is the back end things. So if Veeam has an issue or backup company, any other backup company has their product issue, right? That is the when you jump into the blame game. The source was not responding, so my engine did not work. That is avoidable. That's where okay. The
no, I
source is
agree.
Microsoft, so
Yeah, we won't have to deal with Graph API
yeah,
throttling and nonsense like that because it'll just work.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
That's
get you.
like that's
I totally agree. Yeah, look, we should. I think this makes sense to discuss this at another time. I love this.
yeah.
So
So that's
yeah,
on my hot topic to be discussed. So let's plan for another event. Um,
totally.
I, and I can promise my camera will be much better next time. That's
Good job. Yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
more
you
presentable.
will be back to your workstation, so definitely.
True. Cool.
that needs to be improved. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you everyone for joining. I think we're gonna close for the day. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks,
Pravat.
everyone.
Thanks, Harish.
Thanks,
Yep.
Ben.
Yep. Definitely awesome. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.